Hi guys, welcome to the Azure AD tutorial. In this video, we will discuss about high-level overview of on-premises AD, and we'll see how to create a free Azure AD account. As of this recording, Azure AD free account is always free. It does not have any expiration. Azure AD even has paid plans, but for our learning free account is good enough. We'll see what is a tenant and how to create a new tenant. Understanding tenant concept would be helpful while working with authentication for multi-tenant applications. Difference between Azure Portal and Azure Active Directory Portal. We will try to understand these two by browsing through them. Azure Active Directory Portal is specific to manage Azure AD object, whereas Azure Portal is for all Azure services. We will discuss about what are the domains in Azure AD and where they are used. We will also see how to set up a custom domain in Azure AD. Before getting started with the Azure AD, let us try to understand on-premises AD and how it works. AD is nothing but software, which can be used to store users, groups, computers, and other objects. You can also install Active Directory on your local machine. Before cloud, every organization used to maintain its users in on-premises Active Directory. Still, there are many organizations maintaining their users in their on-premises systems. For example, if you are going to join the new organization, they will create a user account for you. Using that account, you will be able to log in into your system. Let us try to understand this with pictorial representation. The middle server contains AD software. For each new joiner, new account will be created and a workstation will be allocated. Likewise, all users will be created in AD. AD admin can manage those accounts. He can do the operations like disabling the user account or updating the password or updating policies and so on. We can also group the users. For example, if you want to apply some policies to .NET developers, admin can create a group and add .NET developers to that group and apply policies on that group. Likewise, we can create groups and users. One user can contain multiple groups as well. We will discuss more about users and groups while discussing Azure AD users and groups. Hope you guys got the high-level overview of the on-premises Active Directory. If you have any questions, please do comment. Now let us try to understand how a free Azure AD account gets created. If you create a free Azure account, always free Azure AD accounts get created automatically. If you are not familiar with how to create a free Azure account, I have created a video on the same and added the link in the description. You can go through it. I have already created a free Azure account. Let us see how to access Azure Active Directory from Azure Portal and Azure Directory Portal. Open the browser and navigate to portal.azure.com. Search Azure Active Directory. Click here. We will discuss only tenant-related information in this video. Other objects like users, groups, applications we will discuss in our upcoming videos. If you observe tenant information here, license is Azure AD free, so it is free Azure AD account. Under free Azure AD, we can create up to 5 lakh objects. Don't worry about the term object here. Each object can be a user or group or application, and so on. For example, if we create 10 users and 5 groups, then directory contains 15 objects. And the next one is tenant ID. Each tenant contains a unique GUID as an identifier. Primary domain gets created automatically, based on the email that we give while signing up for a free Azure account. We can also configure custom domains as well. You will understand more about domain while creating a new tenant. We'll do that in a moment. Now it's time to know about tenant. A tenant represents an organization in Azure Active Directory. Each Azure AD tenant is distinct and separate from other Azure AD tenants. Each tenant can contain a collection of objects, like users, groups, applications, and so on. Let us try to understand this with an example. Assume that there are two organizations, one is ABC, and the second one is XYZ. All ABC-related information like users, groups, applications can be stored in ABC Tenant, and XYZ information can be stored in XYZ Tenant. Let us try to create a tenant so that it will be more clear to you guys. Click on the Create Tenant link to create a new tenant. Select tenant type as Azure Active Directory. We will discuss about B2C in our upcoming sessions. Click on Next. Give organization name. I am giving here it iCode2Learn. Give initial domain name. This is the primary domain for this tenant. I am giving it as iCode2Learn. If you observe, it is already in use. So it should be globally unique. We are getting this message because I have already created a tenant with this domain. For now, just append one at the end. Select the region near to your organization. Click on Next. Validation is passed. Scroll bit down and observe the configuration details, organization name, domain name, and other information. Clicking on the Create button will create a new tenant. A new tenant got created. Now using the Switch Tenant option, we can switch between the tenants. Here you can see all available tenants under this account. Default tenant got created automatically, whereas other two I created manually. Click on the switch to navigate to the tenant. Objects created in this tenant are specific to this tenant. If you observe, it is also free Azure AD. As of now, this tenant is not associated with any Azure subscription. We need to associate it with a subscription while switching to Premium Azure AD. So that billing will be generated on that subscription. If you observe, it is a brand new portal altogether. It does not have any Azure services. But I have Azure services in my default tenant. If you guys have any questions on this, please do comment. We will respond as soon as possible. Let us switch back to the default tenant and understand the custom domains. Now let us discuss about the domains. Important point about the domain is, domain name will be part of the username. For example, if you want to create a user with an ABC username, then the username of that user will be abc@domainname.onmicrosoft.com. We can also assign a custom domain to the tenant default domain. Scroll a bit down and search for a custom domain name. If you observe, I have already configured custom domain iCode2Learn.com. Click on Add Custom Domain, give your domain name here. Just to show you guys, I am giving here it as abc.com. Click on Add. All you need to do is add this text file in your domain server. If your domain server is GoDaddy, we need to add text file in GoDaddy. If you still not clear on this, I made a video on how to configure a custom domain. Go through that video once. I have added the link in the description. Likewise, we can add multiple custom domains to a tenant default domain. If you observe abc.com is not verified yet, we can verify it once we add the text file in the domain server. Just to make you guys more on these domains, I would like to give a quick demo. Click on Users. Click on New User. Select Create User. If you observe, in the domain dropdown we got two domains. Only verified domains will be displayed here. We can create users with either of the domains. That's all about the domains. Now let us explore on Azure Active Directory portal. Open aad.portal.azure.com. Using this portal we can only manage Azure AD related objects, but we can't access other Azure services. We will explore more on this portal and users, external applications in our upcoming video. That's all from this video. Your suggestions would be always welcome. Please support us by subscribing and sharing the video.